Hey there, Ryan here, and welcome back. We're going to start really diving in now to modes. Now, obviously, in one of the previous lesson playlists that we did, we talked all about the positions of the major scale, and I highly recommend you start with that. So I'm going to put it up on the screen right now. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure you watch that before starting on modes. But when it comes to modes, there's a lot of confusion all the time. There's this question of like, what is a mode versus a scale? When do I use modes? How should I use modes? How do I know if I am using a mode? And so on and so on and so on. So in this series, what we're going to be doing is learning each mode, but also hearing each mode. Because I feel like you don't really start to identify modes and the modal tones and feelings that are produced by modes until you start hearing them in the proper context. So we're going to do this nice, slow, and easy, but at the end of this series, you'll be able to play every mode across the entire neck of the guitar, and you will be for sure that you're playing the proper mode in the proper way all the time. So let's kick it off. Let's get going. Hey, as always, if you haven't already, make sure that you like the video, you click subscribe, and you click the alert button so that you're alerted to all of these videos, especially since this is the first video of a new series. So in order to see the rest of the series, click the alert button. And if you've already done that, thank you so much and welcome back. Within this series, we're going to do a few things. One, we're going to learn every pattern that is a modal pattern, but we're also going to learn what makes it a mode in that moment, in that instance. We have to first remember that we do have 7 modes: Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, and Locrian. Don't let the names scare you. If you know the positions and patterns of your major scale already, you technically already know the patterns that we're going to use. That's a little teaser and an open loop for us to dive into the Ionian mode, the first mode, which is actually the easiest one because it's the same mode or pattern as our major scale. Let's do this one starting on G, the 3rd fret of our low E string. On the low E, 3, 5, 7. On the A string, 3, 5, 7. On the D, 4, 5, 7. On the G, 4, 5, 7. On the B, 5, 7, 8. And on the high E, the same exact thing, 5, 7, 8. Now, a lesson we're going to be learning constantly throughout this entire process is that while you'll recognize a lot of these patterns as positions of the major scale, it's what's going on around what you're playing and or behind what you're playing that really makes this a mode. In other words, what is that resolution point? Something we might call a tonal center. That one note or that one chord or that one tone that constantly starts and ends phrases and brings resolution to your sound. In this instance, if I played that starting on that 3rd fret of the low E and the tone I kept coming back to was G, it would be G major or Ionian. And I'll just leave it right there for now. I just want to start that bug in your ear to get you thinking about what's coming next in modes 2 through 7, because that's where you'll really see it in full application. But I really want these modes to cook in as far as how they sound and what they mean to you personally and how you connect with them. So let me put this pattern up visually right now for you to screenshot, take a look at, pause, play through, whatever you need to do so that you could feel confident in playing it. And I will first play through with a G drone note in the background. I want you to start thinking about and hearing how each individual note of this mode affects that underlying tone, the tonal center. Play each note as fast or as slow as you want to. So again, I'll do it first, and then I'll put the actual pattern up again, and I want you to do this along with that G drone in the background and just really feel out the way this mode feels and sounds. This week, I highly recommend that you work through making sure every single note is being played evenly, cleanly, so that there's no other notes or strings ringing out when you're going to play through. I highly recommend that you alternate pick this exercise, going up, coming back down, and just make sure that you do it again, nice, clean, and even before you even attempt to speed up. As for next week, we will start to focus on Dorian. This is where the rubber meets the road. I don't know. Do they say that? Is that the saying? Regardless, that's what's going to happen. And you'll really start to understand and hone in on modes and what they mean to you and your guitar playing forever, really. So until then, thanks for being here. Make sure you like, subscribe, and click the alerts button. And I will see you next week in the next lesson.